Chloe Turner, a 22-year-old, entered her small bakery, adorned with pastel-hued walls and the aroma of freshly baked delights. Behind the glass display, intricate pastries and delicate cakes tempted passers-by, but it was the enigma of an anonymous order that added a layer of mystique to her bustling world. Saturday mornings are always mysterious in her bakery because of a ritual that has unfolded every week without fail for the past 2 years. A cake order with a dark cloak of anonymity is like a silent pact between an unknown patron and Chloe. The nameless benefactor seems to grasp the very essence of her creations, pushing the boundaries. The anonymous order, though lacking in spoken words, bear the weight of a narrative that unfolds with every passing week. She's oblivious to the identity of her steadfast patron, but she finds a sense of familiarity in that order as she prepares to wrap this mysterious package, which never gets picked up by anyone. A peculiar curiosity tugs at her. "Who orders this, Amanda?" Chloe asked her co-worker. "No details. The person pays through online transactions, but no one has ever shown up," Amanda replied. Chloe's hand lingered over the unnamed box, and a faint whisper of doubt teased the edges of her thoughts. What if, just this once, Chloe tries to unveil the identity of the secret patron? The air in the bakery is charged with anticipation as she succumbs to the allure of discovery. The soft hum of ovens and the distant chatter of customers fade into the background as she delves into the digital records of the past 2 years. Her hazel eyes scan the rows and columns of order details. The soft click-clack of keys echoes in the otherwise quiet office as she navigates through the sea of data. Her eyes squint slightly as she focuses on the details, the screen flickering as she narrows the search. With a mixture of interest whirling within, her hazel eyes stay locked on the screen as she studies the specifics of the cryptic order. She finds herself wondering a lot about the individual who is at that address. She clicks resolutely in order to write down the address. There is a gentle shuffling of papers beneath her as she reaches for a nearby notebook and jots down the address to rekindle a connection and solve a mystery. Now that she has the address, she feels excited to connect the dots between the memories of her computer and the actual lives that gave rise to them. She holds the fragile cake box in her hands, the clean air filled with the scent of strawberries and vanilla. The anxious anticipation tightening her chest won't go away. The address takes her to the massive Turner Industries building, which has a skyscraper-like appearance. Her eyes open at the gleaming marble floors and the cacophony of business talks as she steps into the busy lobby. With a courteous grin, the receptionist pointed her in the direction of the elevators. She's a little proud of her baked goodies for a moment, since she can't believe they made it to such a bustling office. But there is a deep-seated curiosity simmering beneath that pride. The executive floor's elevator doors glide wide to reveal a world of modern glass offices and busy professionals. She makes her way through the maze-like cubicle area and arrives at the door featuring the engraved nameplate. She is frozen for a second when she hears the name. It hits her like a tidal wave. As she reads the title, shock appears on her face. It's a name that reverberates through her memory's hallways. James Turner, CEO, Chloe's father. Her father passed away many years ago, leaving a void that time failed to fill. She had assumed the man was long since deceased. The realization that he is dead has plagued her since she was a young child, leaving a gap that has molded who she is now. How is he still here, fully conscious, behind this massive desk? The lovely smell of cake fills the room, yet it feels oppressive now. She felt a gradual burn of anger rising inside her that could eventually destroy the thin bridge of reconciliation. There is some inexplicable link between her father and the perplexing cake order. When he had abandoned her, how could he be the quiet sender without fail? a plethora. A plethora of feelings rushed through her: bewilderment, joy, and a tinge of sadness that lingered from years of separation. The revelation unfolded in her mind like a delicate dance, each step revealing a layer of a story that had remained shrouded in mystery. He left her pregnant mother on her own. The hushed whispers of the wind outside seemed to echo the silence within her. She reflects on the years that slip away without the comforting presence of a father. The void now echoes with a haunting absence. Her thoughts then shift to her mother, a pillar of strength weathering the storms alone. Chloe can't shake the image of her mother, who spent many nights in silent tears that only the moon bears witness to. Chloe sighs as she wishes for the impossible. She wishes for a rewind button to erase the pain, to rewrite the script of her family story. She clenches her hand into a tight fist, struggling to keep her composure as she knocks on the door. "Come in," a deep voice calls out. The door creaks open, revealing a spacious office with floor-to-ceiling windows. She takes slow strides and keeps the cake on the table. James Turner sits behind a massive mahogany desk, engrossed in a stack of papers. His salt and pepper hair and well-tailored suit speak of success, but she can't help but notice the wrinkled line etched on his face. "Mr. Turner?" she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. He looks up, his eyes meeting hers. "Yes," he says, and her heart sinks that he doesn't recognize her. I am your daughter, Chloe," she says, stammering. "Chloe?" he whispers, his voice hoarse with emotion. James rises from his chair, his eyes tracing the contours of her face as if trying to memorize every detail. "I never thought I would see you," he admits. "You were supposed to be dead." The words escaped her lips sharper than she intended. Chloe, He winces. "Don't," she cut him off. "Don't Chloe me. You don't get to waltz back in after all these years and act like nothing happened," she says. I know, I messed up. I should have explained, but the circumstances." "Circumstances? You left us. My mother had to raise me alone, wondering why her husband abandoned her. And I grew up thinking you were dead. Dead," she scoffs, her anger bubbling to the surface. Tears blur her vision and she wipes them away angrily. The years of longing, of unanswered questions, surge forth in a tidal wave of emotion. She takes a step back, putting distance between them. You can't just stroll back into my life and expect everything to be okay," she says, her voice trembling with a mix of hurt and rage. "Why did you let us believe you were dead? Why? And when you did that, why did you come back into my life? Why have you kept ordering cakes every Saturday for the past 2 years?" she says. "Chloe, my daughter. Do you know what it's like to grow up without a father, without any explanation? To mourn someone who was still breathing?" she asks, and the silence stretches. It's like a chasm between them that seems insurmountable. Her chest heaves with the weight of suppressed emotions, and anger pulses through her veins. "I came here with a cake, hoping to share something good with my anonymous sender, but now I don't even know if you deserve it," she says, gesturing to the forgotten box on his desk. She makes her way out of the office as she takes a deep breath, her anger warring, with a longing for the father she once believed to be lost forever. The heavy door closes behind her, but she catches a glimpse of a woman entering. Her expression is stern towards her father but sympathetic towards her. "You're the bane of that man's existence," the woman says behind closed doors. Her voice is sharp, reaching her ears as Chloe freezes with her heart pounding in her stomach. The woman's words echo, but she resists the temptation to linger. It's not meant for her ears yet. A shiver runs down her spine. She quickened her pace, the polished floors cold beneath her feet. The cityscape beyond the windows blurs. As she navigates the maze of cubicles and glass-walled offices, the statement echoes in her mind, leaving her with more questions than answers. Who is that woman? And what skeletons from her father's past are being unearthed? She can't help but wonder if the complexities of her father's life extend far beyond the fractured relationship with her mother. Outside the office, she takes a deep breath, trying to shake off the unsettling feeling that clings to her. The bustling energy of the executive floor seems both distant and irrelevant. She glanced up at the Turner Industries, a monolith against the skyline. There is a choice ahead, either to delve into the shadows of her father's past or to focus on the present, and she chose the former. The scent of home wraps around her as she steps inside. Her mother is seated on the worn-out couch, engrossed in a book, and looks up as she enters. She takes a deep breath, the weight of the revelation she is about to share settling on her shoulders. "Mom, Dad is alive," she says, as she recounts the surreal events of the day, from the cake delivery to Turner Industries to the shocking discovery of her father's existence and the confrontation that followed. Anger simmers beneath her words, a fire fueled by years of abandonment and unanswered questions. He had the audacity to act like he could just waltz back into my life. He left us, Mom. He left you. And now, after all these years, he expects forgiveness by sending a cake every Saturday? She seethed. But maybe there's a reason he resurfaced now. Maybe he's changed, her mother says as she scoffs, bitterness lacing her words. Changed? He doesn't even get to change and erase the past, she says. And before her mother can respond, a sharp knock on the door interrupts their conversation. The knock on the door startled both of them, and with a hesitant glance at her mother, Chloe strides towards the door to open it. As she swings the door open, she is met with the familiar sight of the woman from Turner Industries who was cursing her father. "Chloe, right?" she asks, a certain weariness in her eyes. Chloe nods, her curiosity mingling with the lingering resentment from her earlier revelation. "Leah Turner," she introduces herself. "Your father's wife," she adds, and Chloe narrowed her eyes, suspicion and disdain coloring her gaze. "Wife? You mean the woman he left my mother for?" she says. Leah's expression tightens, a flicker of pain crossing her features. "Yes, that would be me, but don't think for a moment that I condone his actions or approve of what he did," she replies, and her skepticism softens into surprise. "Wait, what do you mean?" she asks, and Leah takes a deep breath as if preparing to share a painful truth. "Your father married me for my family's wealth. I was naive, blinded by what I thought was love. But he betrayed me. He's been using me just as he used your mother." The weight of the revelation hangs heavy in the air, a shared sense of betrayal uniting them in an unexpected way. Anger bubbles up within her once again, not just directed at her father, but at the pattern of deception that seems to define his actions. "He needs to face the consequences of what he has done to both of us," Leah says, looking into her eyes as Chloe finds herself nodding in agreement. Revenge is a bitter pill, and there is a shared understanding that justice, in whatever form it takes, needs to be served. "We need to expose him for who he really is," Chloe says. "I am in. Let's make him face the consequences of his actions," Leah replies. "How do you know about me?" Chloe asks abruptly. "I saw you at the General Hospital 2 years back when you took your mother there for the treatment. I saw you putting your father's name on the documents," Leah says. "Why didn't you tell me right away?" Chloe asks. "It was hard to process," Leah replies. "Chloe, I need you to know something else as well," Leah begins in a steady voice. "What?" Chloe asks. "It was me who used to send those cakes. Every Saturday, I knew you will find the truth about your father one day, and I wanted you to know that you have my support no matter what you have been thinking about me all this time," she says, her eyebrows knit in confusion. the pieces of a puzzle slowly clicking into place. "You were sending me cake for 2 years?" she asks, and Leah nods. "I thought you may try to find the identity and you might reconsider your father's version of events. You might question why he abandoned you and your mother," she says. Chloe sits back, absorbing this revelation. The cakes, once a mysterious token of an absent father's remorse, now take on a new significance. "I wanted you to have a reason to confront him. I wanted you to question his motives and see through his facade. But I never expected it to take this long. I never wanted you to suffer for so many years," she continues. The truth settles and an unspoken understanding passes between them. The cakes were a breadcrumb trail leading to this moment. A moment of reckoning and perhaps closure. "What is the plan?" Chloe asks. "We expose him for the fraud he is. We hit him where it hurts the most. His empire," Leah says. "Bankrupt him?" she says, the flickers of revenge burning in her. "Exactly. We gather evidence of his deceit, his embezzlement, and his betrayals. We expose it all to the world. Let his carefully constructed image crumble," Leah says. "We dig into financial records, uncover hidden deals, and piece together a damning narrative that will strip away the illusion of a successful businessman," she added. "We have to gather our evidence discreetly to build a case strong enough to withstand any legal challenge, and then, when the time is right, we expose him. We let the world see the man he truly is," Leah says. "Let's make him pay for every sleepless night, every unanswered question, and every broken promise," Chloe says, and a cold smile plays on her lips. "We'll dismantle his empire piece by piece, leaving him with nothing but the truth," Leah says. The stage is set for a reckoning, and closure seems closer than ever. The dim glow of the table lamp cast long shadows across the room as Leah and Chloe huddled over a clutter of financial documents, piecing together the intricate web of deceit spun by Chloe's father. Each document leads them closer to the unraveling of his empire. Leah sifted through a stack of invoices, her eyes narrowing as she uncovered hidden transactions. Chloe's fingers traced the numbers, each digit a testament to the betrayal they were uncovering. Suddenly, her gaze shifts to a drawer labeled "Confidential." She slid it open, only to get more shocked than ever. Her heart sinks as she scans the pages. Her eyes landed on a medical record with a diagnosis that shifted the tone of their pursuit. "Stage 3 cancer?" she whispered, the words heavy with unexpected sorrow. James Turner is a man facing his mortality. The weight of the revenge they were seeking suddenly feels heavier, and Chloe struggles to reconcile the image of a deceitful businessman with that of a man battling a life-threatening illness. The paper slipped through her fingers as a wave of conflicted emotions washes over her. Just as the room seems to tighten around them, a voice, worn with remorse, speaks from behind. "Chloe," she hears as she turns to find her father standing there. There is a vulnerability in his eyes that she hasn't seen before. The weight of his actions is etching across his face. "I've been diagnosed with cancer. Stage 3. The doctors say it's aggressive. I want to make things right before," he says. "You're asking for forgiveness, aren't you?" Chloe states, her voice steady. "I acknowledge my mistakes. I deceived Leah and left you, your mother. I gave myself over to greed. However, given the severity of this diagnosis, I am unable to continue bearing the burden of my misdeeds." He sighs deeply and says. Chloe takes in his remarks, and there is a heavy hush in the room. A sense of regret, and possibly even an opportunity for repentance, now permeates the once revenge-tainted room. "Take my apology, please. My intention is to make things right. Help me in figuring out how to repair the harm I've created," he goes on. Chloe's pulse raised at the intricacy of the situation. A man is looking for salvation in the face of his own death. An enraged and empathetic daughter stands still in the room. And there is a woman who finds herself entangled in a web of treachery. What was once a room full of targets for retaliation is now a canvas for forgiveness. It's a road towards resolution and a fresh start that, despite all chances, could result in anything approaching bliss and happiness. James, I forgive you. The voice of Chloe's mother cuts in, and so do we, Leah and Chloe say. Chloe begins to sob as she watches the burden of decades worth of guilt start to fade from her father's shoulders. Time itself provides a moment's break. The daughter, caught between anger and revenge, finds the ability to let go, while the man, looking for reconciliation, finds some measure of it. The warmth of forgiveness gives women caught in the crossfire of treachery a glimpse of calm. Forgiveness in this room is like paint on a canvas covering the scars left by the past. Chloe struggles with the realization that people often struggle to forgive, even when the doer acknowledges their mistakes, just like Chloe was. We are all so quick to preach forgiveness, but when it comes down to it, we clutch onto grievances like they're lifelines. Chloe mutters, taking a sigh. We are all flawed beings, bound to make mistakes, and yet we expect perfection from others, forgetting that we stumble and fall too. Chloe decides to be the one who forgives and forgets. She embraces the idea that forgiveness is a gift she can give to herself. It's a chance to let go and move on. Happiness appears on the horizon as each of them embarks on their own uncertain destiny, wishing for a brighter future.